Hey guys, Doobie here, and we are at the Centurion Lounge at Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, and I have to break it to you. We're headed back south, way south. We're going to Patagonia to visit the Chilean Fjords, so come along with us, traveling with the Doobies.
So for those who followed our adventures to Antarctica in 2025, our trip to Patagonia and the Chilean Fjords will seem very familiar, at least from the travel logistics perspective, as we need to get back to the end of the world to begin this adventure. So as we get settled into our Delta One suite, here's the plan for the next 21 days on the road. Once we reach Buenos Aires, we'll spend a day and a half doing a little exploring before boarding a charter south to Ushuaia, where we'll meet up with the expedition ship Seabourn Pursuit. From Ushuaia, the ship will make a quick stop across the Beagle Channel to clear customs, and from then on, we will be in Chile, exploring 3 glaciers, 2 parks, 3 southern Chilean cities, and taking in what we hear is some of the most breathtaking scenery on the planet. We're scheduled to then end the cruise in San Antonio, and we'll spend another 3 days exploring in and around Santiago. And of course, this is an expedition, so will this schedule hold? Of course not, so stay tuned. Aw, crap, did Donna Doobie make this flight? There she is. About 9.5 hours tossing and turning in my pod, and we're on approach to EZE, the International Airport for Buenos Aires. A note for passport control line here: if you are wearing layered clothing, sports jackets, clothes in general, this line is hot, long, and slow. We were a bit lucky this morning since Delta beat United and American to the gates, but we still waited a good 40 minutes, and we were toward the front of the queue. We did make a tactical mistake, however. If you see the line split at EZ at some point, for God's sake, stay left.
Yeah. Good morning, Buenos Aires.
The nice thing, I guess, about a long passport control line is our bags were already on the conveyor when we hit the baggage area. Then it's just a quick walk through Nothing to Declare, where our Seabourn transportation reps were waiting for us and 4 other couples. Aziza International Airport is just over 20 miles from the Recoleta neighborhood, but like Atlanta, the time of day you hit traffic will dictate how long it takes to get into town. Arriving on a weekday at rush hour means plan for a good hour to make the transit. Even so, we were pulling into the Alvear Palace just a little after 11 a.m. So, touchdown at 9:14 and at the hotel in a foreign country 2 hours later, just stop bitching, Doobie, and enjoy. And even better, our room is ready. Did they give the Doobies the upgraded suite like last year? No, but we'll take it. With only a day and a half to explore the city with a metropolitan population of almost 17 million, it's time to focus. What do we want to see this time that would be new for us? I got it. How about highlighting the art of Buenos Aires in many of her forms? And to start with, how about the culinary arts? We're a little hungry after all. So after quickly getting lost, we wander until we hit our first target, La Mantequeria. Any bakery called the Buttery has to be good, and porteños love their pastries. We found it flaky, sweet, glazed, and a nice little pick-me-up to get us started. They even received a shipment of butter as we sat there people watching. For some real edible artwork, we head to La Lenita for a couple of empanadas. Even as the skies start to threaten, we grab an outside table. La Lenita has over a dozen types of empanadas, each with its own characteristic shape. I opt for a 3-cheese and chicken empanada. Even with a small order, they bring out bread and a cold meat salsa dish to ease the wait as your empanada is made. The empanadas at La Lenita are at the top of Doobie's list. Amazing. 2 empanadas, bottled water with bread, and appetizer $7.65. Craving a burger? Just across the way is the food truck store. Maybe the fare is more mundane, but the neon artwork and building are unique. So the worst of the storms seem to be passing, and we work our way past the back walls of the Recoleta Cemetery and all around the streets and parks of this posh neighborhood filled with small surprises. There's no lack of monuments and artwork in Buenos Aires, and there are hundreds of art installations, statues, and murals. Even the mall gets into the act.
So Boston has the cop slide, but Buenos Aires has the robot slide.
As we walk towards Plaza Republica, it's a good time to touch on safety. It's our second trip to BA in 2 years, and we have wandered through San Telmo, Palermo, and Recoleta neighborhoods at various times of day and night, and all feel safe for a huge city. The hotel does post signs in the lobby specifically noting to not wear high-dollar watches on the street, even though the Palace has a Rolex store right there in the lobby. And we did hear about one incident recently where a Seabourn guest was robbed just steps from the hotel for their watch. Now, I'm not sure if that really happened or not. Common sense needs to prevail, and as in most cities we travel to, the greatest risk is losing an iPhone while sitting at an outdoor cafe. Our advice? If you're a person that worries about petty crime back home, go ahead. Worry about that in Buenos Aires. But if you travel smart and light, enjoy yourself and enjoy this city. Our last target for day one in Buenos Aires is the Floralis Generica. The giant polished aluminum flower with 6 13-meter petals was originally designed and paid for by Argentine architect Eduardo Catalano and opened in 2002. Now, the sculpture is supposed to open every morning and close around dusk, but that only happens when it's working, which seems to be rare, so for now, it's open. We wouldn't be watching the flower close tonight anyway, as we have a dinner reservation tonight. So we're going to head back through the sculpture gardens of the Museo de Bellas Artes and get cleaned up for the most Argentinian of meal. Tonight we're headed to Fervor, where steak and Malbec are art. And we liked Fervor so much on our first trip to Buenos Aires, we needed to come back. Our server recommended a wonderful Malbec from Mendoza that paired with a ribeye cooked to perfection with grilled vegetables on the open flame. What a meal. Welcome to day 2 in Buenos Aires, and we start the day debating over breakfast our transportation options this morning. Does my life insurance cover Uber Moto? We decide to walk.
It's a glorious day today. 70 degrees, nice breeze, less humid, not a cloud in the sky. Let's see what we can find towards Palermo.
Fueled up on pastries and coffee like the wannabe porteños we are, we head out this morning toward the Palermo neighborhood to gain a little more perspective on Latin American culture through modern art. And Buenos Aires is home to Museo de Arte Latinoamericano de Buenos Aires, or Malba. This gallery of around 700 works is composed of contemporary pieces from artists ranging from Mexico, Central America, and of course South America. The museum first opened in September of 2001, housing the private collection of Eduardo Constantini. The pieces range from the wholly abstract and emotional to the everyday life as seen by artists in their home countries. Works on the second floor are grouped around common subject matters: daily life, religion and faith, political struggle and strife, there's also pieces on whimsy and love. Pieces also are light and shape. And also, we see power and emotion woven through textiles. Malba to me is really a perfectly sized and curated museum experience that takes a thoughtful visitor through a wave of representative artworks without becoming overwhelming to the senses and to the feet. My thought as we wrapped up our visit was that I wanted to see more. Circling around into the large Parque 3 de Febrero, we find the Japanese garden. This garden, inaugurated in 1967 as a celebration of a visit from Prince Akihito and Princess Machiko, comes with a pretty hefty entrance fee for tourists compared with other sites in the city. The posted price was $34 for two, compared to what we just paid, $7.50 for two at the Malba. That said, upon checking my credit card bill when back in the US, it turns out I was charged $27, so maybe they applied a senior discount? It's a beautifully landscaped area with large lakes full of koi and various other creatures, and plenty of arched red bridges to catch that Instagrammable pose. In the main pavilion near the exit, there's a small restaurant serving Japanese specialties, and there's an exhibit of silk kimonos upstairs. But what really caught my attention was all these origami swans hanging from the ceiling. So we've had a nice walk to Palermo, a visit with some great art, and a very pretty stroll through the gardens, and we are already at 2:30. And when was lunch? So next goal, find some food, and we wander into the Palermo Soho district with a goal. Stop at the first place we smell goodness coming from a kitchen. That is, without getting too distracted on the way.
So it's to raise money for... Nice.
So hunger is in charge, and we head into Lo de Carlitos, and I get a ham and cheese lomito, another word for an Argentinian steak sandwich, which breaks the old rule of never eat anything bigger than your head. And Donna Doobie gets the hamburger lunch special, and it's less than $9. Hunger satisfied for at least 2 days, we need something sweet. And an 8-minute walk away, and we arrive at Rapanui, known for chocolates and ice cream. We enter through the front, and we don't see the ice cream. But we quickly figure out you select a size and pay in the shop up front, and the ice cream is selected and served from a separate small building in the garden. It's very peaceful, and ice cream is delicious. So is the affogato. Fitbit now shows we have just over 7 miles walk, so we grab an Uber back to the Alvear Palace. For just under $5, it's money well spent at the end of the day, and we have found Uber in Argentina to be reliable and very convenient in comparison to hailing a cab. I do recommend tipping in cash though, and for that, American dollars are fine if you don't have pesos. So this evening, we have to do 2 things. Pack up the big bags that will be collected by Seabourn tonight from outside our door, and we have to catch the sunset up on the roof bar. The roof terraces of the Alvear Palace offer commanding views of the Rio Plata. They have 2 bars and amazing sunset vibes. Cocktails, while not a bargain, are a must, and hey, still cheaper than Vegas. I opt for the Amba 65, a whiskey-based cocktail the menu says is a tribute to Jose Raul Echenique, bartender at the Alvear Palace and world cocktail champion of 1965. So I'm sipping history. Better give me 2. So good night, Buenos Aires. One more check on the bags to be collected, and all is set for our journey south tomorrow. For this series, which is rich in the celebration of stunning visual treats, we're going to close each episode with a best of slideshow of our photographs. Hope you enjoy them. Good night, everybody.